Picture this, a beautiful Mediterranean island torn in half by barbed wire and UN peacekeepers. Two communities that lived together for centuries, now separated by what locals call the last divided capital in Europe. And at the center of it all, Britain's colonial legacy. But here's the twist. Did the UK actually plan to divide Cyprus? Or did they just fumble their way into creating one of the world's most enduring conflicts? Welcome to Historical Equation, where we solve the puzzle's history left behind. Today, we're diving into one of the most misunderstood stories of the 20th century, the division of Cyprus. Most people think Britain deliberately split the island to maintain control, but the reality is far more complicated and, frankly, more interesting than the conspiracy theories suggest. Let's start with what everyone gets wrong. The popular narrative goes like this. Britain wanted to keep Cyprus divided to maintain military bases and regional influence, so they orchestrated the entire mess. Sounds logical, right? Well, not quite. Here's what actually happened. When Britain took over Cyprus in 1878, they inherited an island where Greek and Turkish Cypriots had coexisted for centuries under Ottoman rule. Sure, there were tensions, but nothing like what came later. The real trouble started when Britain began playing different communities against each other, not intentionally to divide the island, but to prevent any unified independence movement. The turning point came in the 1950s. Greek Cypriots launched EOKA, a guerrilla campaign for enosis, union with Greece. Britain's response? They recruited Turkish Cypriots into the police force and encouraged Turkish nationalism as a counterweight. This wasn't some master plan to partition Cyprus. It was crisis management gone horribly wrong. But here's where it gets really interesting. By 1958, Britain actually wanted out of Cyprus. The island had become a security nightmare, draining resources and damaging Britain's international reputation. The problem was they created a monster they couldn't control. The 1960 Independence Constitution was Britain's attempt to wash their hands of the whole mess. They gave Cyprus independence with a complex power-sharing arrangement that satisfied nobody. Greek Cypriots felt cheated out of enosis. Turkish Cypriots felt vulnerable, and Britain got to keep their military bases, the only thing they really cared about. When fighting broke out in 1963, Britain's response was telling. They sent peacekeepers, but their main goal was protecting their bases, not preventing partition. When Turkey invaded in 1974, Britain could have intervened militarily. They were one of the guarantor powers after all. Instead, they sat back and watched the island split in two. So here's the historical equation. Britain didn't divide Cyprus on purpose, but their colonial policies created the conditions that made division inevitable. They played communities against each other to prevent unified resistance, then abandoned the island when the situation became uncontrollable. The tragedy is that this wasn't some calculated imperial strategy. It was imperial incompetence. Britain created a problem they couldn't solve, then walked away leading two communities to pay the price. The division of Cyprus wasn't the result of British master planning. It was the predictable outcome of short-sighted colonial policies that prioritized immediate control over long-term stability. Sometimes the most devastating historical events aren't the result of grand conspiracies, but simple human failure to think beyond the next crisis. What do you think? Was Britain's role in Cyprus malicious or just incompetent? Let me know in the comments below. And don't forget to subscribe for more historical equations that challenge what you think you know about the past.